Starting off week 16 strong, ladies and gentlemen. What is so exciting here in what you have with the Rams offense is not only are they much better than they were earlier in the season, right? I mean, obviously everybody already knows that, and we're really not going to be changing our rankings too much just because they're scoring more points. But on top of this, what you are having is a great offense that is condensing the target tree and condensing the amount of touches that their players are seeing outside of the top level guys. Because you look at offenses like Kansas City that may be great, but they are getting 4, 5, 6, 7 wide receivers involved every week. Sometimes 15 skill positional players are going to touch the football. Whereas with the Rams, it's the exact opposite of that. If you're looking at the Los Angeles Rams, instead, you have 3 players that really touch the ball. Maybe you want to go out there and throw in Demarcus Robinson as that 4th guy, but they are condensing their target tree and they are condensing their overall market share to an absurd amount of talent. It's crazy that Puka, Kyren, Cooper Kupp were all day 3 draft picks that they were able to identify. Kyren comes out, dominates volume. He was our running back 2 last week. He's our running back 2 this week. Literally never thought this guy would ever come close to being this good, but he clearly is. 22 carries, 104 rushing yards. While, yeah, Ronnie Rivers sees some action. Kyren got banged up a little bit in the game. It was a blowout at one point. I know the score at the very end made it look like it was close. The game wasn't close. Kyren dominated with touches. True 3-down bell cow. If you look at the targets that you had 23 targets going to Puka and Cooper Kupp. So over 60%, I believe it's over 60%. Let me get out a little calculator real quick and divide what? We got to divide 23 by 32. 72% of Matthew Stafford pass attempts are going to either Cooper Kupp or Puka. So we've been ranking both these guys as low-level wide receiver 1s, high-end wide receiver 2s, and we're way too low on them. I think that these guys have to be penciled in as top 8 options every single week if they are going to have 70% of a great offense. Puka just absolutely blows up. Puka is way better than I ever thought he would be in a million years, just like Kyren Williams. I mean, we were so damn wrong on Puka. Literally could not have been more wrong on him. It was hilarious. Kupp still dominates targets. Obviously, Puka's the guy that comes away with the big game. But yeah, both these guys, top 10 wide receivers rest of season. Matthew Stafford looks like he is hitting on all cylinders. This game was not even close. Going over to what we have at the Saints here. I mean, I understand, yeah, the game at the end was close, but it wasn't close. It's only close if you're looking at the box score and box score alone. But Derek Carr gives you some cheap passing volume, a lot of garbage time production. 319, Derek Carr's a bum. I don't really care here. Chris Olave does hit our underdog pick'em. Y'all know we took Chris Olave for more than 60 receiving yards. Actually, I believe it was 64 receiving yards on Underdog Fantasy. It doesn't freaking matter. The man dominates 13 targets. He has 123 receiving yards as well. Shaheed gets there with the receiving touchdown. He has 9 targets, which is nice, but am I pumped to go out there and start Shaheed next week? No, this offense isn't good. So even with no Michael Thomas, if you're in your fantasy football championship next week, starting Shaheed, something is going wrong. I don't care about A.T. Perry. He scores touchdown, he had 1 target. It doesn't matter. Jawan Johnson, maybe someone that you can be looking at as a tight end streamer, but really nothing changes. Horrible game for Kamara. The usage still there. He's still getting targeted out of the backfield. The Saints offense is just dysfunctional. So really nothing changes from this game. Kyren's still a top 3 running back. Kupp and Puka maybe go from low-end wide receiver 1s, high-end wide receiver 2s to consistent mid-wide receiver 1s, low-end wide receiver 1s. And then going over to the Saints side, you're still starting Olave every week. I'm still starting Kamara next week. I'm not going to be thinking about that one too much. But I think it should be it. Let's go ahead and let's dive into some questions. And as I pull these up, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, if you have not done so, hit that like button. I know some of y'all hit that like button on the last live stream that I had to end because I was not smart enough to go through and, I don't know, turn on the microphone before we started live streaming. So I'm a genius. And also, if you wanted to check out a Russell Wilson special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard, Underdog is going to be giving away that special pick'em plus a LeBron James special pick'em, more than less than half a total point for Christmas on Underdog Fantasy. You can find that with the link in the comment section, link in the description. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season rankings, which will be for the next 2 weeks. But Skyward coming out with our next question, saying, have BBR started running back and a flex between Swift, Bijan, JT. JT for damn sure. We had Puka Kyron tonight, so we are just cruising. We just want the highest floor possible. I mean, here, I probably am going to go ahead and just take Bijan Robinson, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't feel great about it. I'm very biased with it, but I don't know. I think that Bijan does have a respectable floor in this matchup, and we don't really need to chase the ceiling, if that makes sense. Now, Blake says, Pitts, Jameson, or Parker Washington this week. Parker Washington has been seeing more target volume with no Christian Kirk. However, if you were to have Trevor Lawrence missing this game, I'm not going to go Parker Washington. If Lawrence plays, I will play Washington. If he doesn't, we will go Jameson. Now, the big ticket says one more game to get to the championship. Started Kamara and Williams. A bad Williams game. Bad Kamara game, obviously. Strong Williams game. Who should be our flex between Bijan or Bryant? Don't know. Taylor, Ty, or Singletary? It's going to be Jonathan Taylor. I rank Jonathan Taylor as a tier 1 player this week. I'm very biased. I mean, if Jonathan Taylor goes out there and crushes it over the next 2 weeks, we may win $3 million on Underdog, which would be very, very nice. I don't act like that's likely. It's a 1 out of 7,000 chance, but you're telling me there's a chance. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Taylor. And then between the Eagles, Green Bay defenses this week, both have phenomenal matchups. Probably going to go ahead and take the Eagles, though. But thank you so much. Cheeky Option says, see you at the meetup. See you at the meetup, my friend. And I will confirm this for sure. I just want to make sure that Zilker's going to be available. But if you are near Austin, Texas, we are thinking that the Flock meetup this year is going to be January 13th. That is a Saturday in Austin, Texas. It will be essentially just big meetup at the local park. It's a massive park. If you know anything about Austin, you know Zilker Park. They have concerts and everything there. So yeah, if you want to come hang out with us, talk fantasy football, I mean, just the whole 9 yards, see exactly how tall I am in real life. Spoiler alert, 6'7". You can do that. Austin, Texas, January 13th. I don't think we have to say it, but just in case, it's obviously free. But now, Dougie says, started running back in a flex and a super. We have Jones, Ty Chandler, Adams Amari, AOC, and Nick Mullins. I'm going to go Nick Mullins at the super flex. We'll be going with Adams at the regular flex, and we are going to be going with Ty Chandler at running back, my friend. But thank you so much for always being in the live stream. Now, Jags Got Juice says, Mixon or HN, who has the lowest floor? Thanks. I think HN has the lowest floor, but Mixon has the lower ceiling. And I see some people believe in us with the 6'7" thing. I don't want to start those rumors. I don't want to squash those rumors, but if you want to figure out if I am being honest about being 6'7", you can at the meetup. It'll be obvious. Because I'll be so much taller than everybody. But JX says, PBR, started Cup, sadly. We have, Cup didn't play horribly, my friend. We have Tyreek, St. Brown, HN, JT, ETN, Pollard. We need to play 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. McBride at tight end, Lamar at quarterback. Wide receiver, we're going to go Hill, St. Brown, not thinking twice. Running back, we will go with JT and ETN. And I'm assuming we have to throw like St. Brown or Tyreek in the flex spot because we played Cup. But if you're telling us we have an additional flex that we can play on top of that, then I think we're going to go ahead and play Tony Pollard. But Michael says, Mace, my guy, got a 33-point start from Puka. Hell yeah. We have Goff, Swift, Pacheco, AJ, Lamb, London. McBride left in a 12-team 3 receiver single flex. Let's get it. I think you're in a great spot if we have AJ Lamb as well. I think you're in a great spot. I'm rooting for you. Congrats on the Puka start. Timeout Sports, always happy to see you. Let me go ahead and make you a moderator real quick, my friend. No idea how you're not a moderator as is. But saying, Mason, my dude, which running back do we set between Henry, Mostert, Swift, and Chandler? Going to be between Henry and Chandler. I think you have to play Mostert, have to play Swift. Probably, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if Alexander Madison were to somehow play, then we go ahead and we bench Ty Chandler. If you look at my flex rankings this week, I have Henry at 42, Chandler at 43. We have them literally back to back. I don't know what to do there. Thanks for all the advice, Best Fantasy. Appreciate you, my friend. Can everybody help out Timeout Sports in the chat? Always out here with us pretty much every single night. Can you spam the chat? Are you going to be starting Derrick Henry or Ty Chandler? Derrick Henry or Ty Chandler. We'll scroll down to see all your answers, but first, as we wait for you to get those in, Phoenix Lance says, happy holidays. Mason need 2 running backs and a flex and a full PPR. My options are Pollard, Agent, Henry, Singletary, Deontay, Noah Brown. Appreciate all that you do. No, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you stopping by with us tonight. I think we're going to be going with Pollard, Achane for sure as our 2 running backs. For our flex spots, really going to be down between Henry and Devin Singletary. Singletary is at 41. Henry's at 42 in my flex rankings this week. It's a tough spot. We're assuming that you have no CJ Stroud, but we still probably want to play Devin Singletary over Henry. Now, let's see what people were saying with that early question. Now, we got Ty, Henry, Ty, Henry, Ty. So it looks like most people are going to go Ty Chandler over Derrick Henry. And if most people in the chat are doing that, I'll listen to the chat. Like I said, I have them ranked back to back. It's not like I have a super strong take either way. But now, NYR Nick says, Hall, JT, Connor, Singletary, Amari, Waddle. We got a bench 2. I think we're going to bench Singletary based off his overall offense. And then probably Amari as well. Bench Singletary for sure. It comes down to Connor or Amari. Probably depends a little bit if it's a full PPR or non-PPR league. Kidlo's happy to see us. Says Flock the Huskies projected 200 in the semis in one of my leagues. Appreciate the crazy season. I'm hyped for Dynasty this year. Hook 'em horns, my friend. I'm excited to get into Dynasty just because I know we have a lot of excitement around the rookie class. I have not looked at it at all. I know the guys at the very top, but honestly, I've been super busy in years past. I've looked at it, but it hasn't really helped at all knowing them back in November, in December from our overall process. So I know a lot of people on flagfantasy.com are really excited about the rookie class, and I am excited to dive into it. I just don't know much right now. Joe says, dude, should we flex Bijan or Mostert championship game? If you look at how I rank these guys this week, I put Bijan at 21 in our flex rankings and Mostert at 15. It is the most painful thing ever, but I think you probably have to play the guy that's in the elite level offense. Now, Demon says 10-team double flex, half point per carry. Half point per carry, we play the quarterbacks with the rushing upside and a running back in the flex. We're going to go Fields at quarterback, given the matchup over Lamar. Running back, we're going to go CMC, Bijan. Wide receiver, we're going to go Evans, Ayuk, and we're going to be playing Jacobs there in the flex because it's a half point per carry format. There I'm a little bit less excited about Achane just because volume matters so much. Jake Habitacia says, wish Cup had a bigger game, but playing Kamara, so can't be too mad. Yeah, if you're playing against Kamara, I mean, you're fine. Pick 2 PBR between T, Eckler, Chuba, Chandler, Nico. Thinking Chuba and T because we can't trust Eckler anymore. I am going to go Austin Eckler over Chuba Hubbard. I'm going to go with T and Eckler. My thought process with Eckler is if Staley was still the head coach here, then I would agree. We probably don't want to go through and play him. But with no Brandon Staley, you are now in a spot where you could potentially see them go out there and change the way that they are using these running backs and use Eckler a little bit more in a 3-down role. Now, Funky B Money says trade A.J. Brown and Diggs for CMC. Cup and Rice. Cup and Rice are on the bench. Yeah, go get CMC, assuming it's a redraft league. Yeah. Hudson says bench Puka in one league and started Cup over Olave in another. Oh my gosh, my friend, I'm sorry. Starting Fields, Gibbs, Achane, Jefferson, Amon-Ra, DJ. The bench is Barkley, Rice, Aaron Jones. What are your thoughts? I think we leave it as is, if I'm going to be honest with you. And yeah, I think it's a phenomenal team here. The only thing that I would potentially consider is maybe going Rice over DJ Moore. But obviously Rice has a phenomenal matchup. I'm sorry, not a phenomenal matchup. Phenomenal role now in KC. Now, Solid Jenkins says, what up, Flock? Made the Final Four, going for the back-to-back chip. Who would you start? 2 receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. Lamb, Moore, Wilson, Gibbs, Bijan, Achane. Wide receiver, Lamb and Moore. Moore has a great matchup. Running back, Gibbs, Achane. I have Wilson and Bijan relatively close in our rankings this week, which is surprising, but Wilson does have that great matchup going up against Washington. I still probably go ahead and play Bijan over Wilson, however. Still probably go Bijan over Wilson. Now, Michael says likely or London in the flex. I will go London over likely. Now, JC the Death King with our next question here says if Jacobs plays, start Chandler or Lockett at the flex. I'll be going Chandler over Lockett. Solid Jenkins says, also, let me make you a moderator. Oh, you're already a moderator. Why isn't it showing up that you're a mod? I was like, how are you not a moderator by now? But also have Tua and Waddle stack or Kyler McBride. So Kyler's the rushing upside. You'd prefer Kyler a little bit more if it's a 4-point passing touchdown format. But honestly, I'm probably going to go Tua regardless. I'm going to go Tua over Kyler regardless. Nagabe says start Washington and Brown or Deontay Johnson. Parker Washington and Hollywood or Deontay? I'd probably go Deontay over Parker Washington, especially if you may have no Lawrence. Now, Richard says 10 team, have BBR double flex. Stafford, Taylor, Montgomery, Chandler, Zeke, Reed, Taysom, McBride, and Njoku, Parker, Deontay, Lockett. So we're going to go Taylor, Montgomery at running back. We're going to be going with Tyreek and Lockett at wide receiver with Reed being banged up. And then we're going to be going with Chandler, Zeke at the 2 flex spots with this being at BBR format, and then Trey McBride at tight ends. Now, the real J says full BBR, single flex, Hurts, Moore, Debo, Mostert, Taylor, Kelsey, Etienne. And then on the bench, Waddle, HN, Moss, Collins, McLaurin. If we were looking at getting anybody in the starting lineup, it would be HN. I'm not going to play HN over Mostert, Taylor, or Etienne. So I think we do leave the lineup as is. I think you have a great team. You'll be really excited about it. Now, let's go ahead. I'm sorry. Please do not just copy and paste the same question over and over again. Duval says non-PPR pick 2, Sutton, Hopkins, T. I'm going to be going with Sutton and T now that you have no Chase. Now, Mega Alpha Supreme says full BBR, McBride or Laporta. I'm going to go Laporta, even though McBride, I believe, is in the same tier. Already at Olave tonight. Great stream as usual, bro. Keep it up. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, my friend. And yes, I think that you should be excited about both guys. I mean, it's like so weird that these tight ends are good enough where you could legitimately consider flexing a tight end in the fantasy football playoffs. David says we have Fields and Goff, but I know most would say start Fields, but Goff has been my mascot. A pretty funny team name. And I feel like I'd be jinxing myself to bench him. Do we start him? If it is a 4-point passing touchdown format, you have to start Fields over Goff, and you can't think twice. I mean, you just have so much rushing upside with Fields, and he has that great matchup. And then also HN versus Pollard. It's close in my mind. If you're looking at my flex rankings, I have Pollard at 14 and HN at 16 this week. So it's close, but I'm probably going to go ahead and just take Pollard getting every touch. Now, Iron says, in full tilt mode due to Kamara tonight, should we start the Chiefs, Colts, or Packers defense, then struggling starting Goff or Flacco? Thanks a ton. Thank you, my friend. Go Goff over Flacco. Don't overthink it. Goff has a 25-point implied team total there. I think you make that call relatively easily. And then there, between the defenses, I probably go ahead and play the Packers when they have a great matchup going up against Carolina. PJ says, hey, Mason, start Evans or Rice. I will go Mike Evans over Rashee Rice. Rough Time says, had Kamara played against Puka. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it is. Times are rough, my friend. Times are rough. I'll say that much. Adam says, McBride or Njoku. We're going to go McBride. And Etienne or Chandler. We'll go Etienne, my friend. Cerny says, Sutton, Godwin, Waddle, Roshan, McKinnon, or Brown. First question, we are going to go ahead. We will play Waddle despite Tyreek being back. Second question, I think that maybe is Noah Brown. I don't. If it's Hollywood Brown, ready to go Hollywood Brown. Noah Brown's much tougher. Probably go Brown, even if we don't know who it is. Mike says, Mason, who do we flex? Adams, Rice, or Chandler? I would go with Rashee Rice now that he's going out there and now that he's playing 90, 95% of the snaps. Adolfo says, Addison or McKinnon for the flex. We had Puka tonight. Assuming that Pacheco's good to go, right? Please let me know in the live chat if I'm wrong. I'm operating under the assumption that Pacheco is going to play. If that's the case, I will play Addison, even if I do think we see him scale back just a bit. Mike says, PBR semis. My team is Mahomes, Kamara, Kyron, Puka. Okay, so if I would have told you how many points you would have had at the end of Thursday, you would have been pumped about it regardless. So I know Kamara lets us down, but Puka more than makes up for it. My last spot is a wide receiver 2 between Wilson, Deontay, or Ridley. You have to go through and you have to start Wilson. Wilson should be in the best spot that we have seen all year. And honestly, you have a great setup here. We're playing with the team that their round 1 pick was Eckler, who's kind of falling apart. Even though I'm rooting against you, that Tyreek Hill has a blow-up game. I need a big Tyreek game here. Blake says Higgins or Ayuk. I will go with Ayuk over Higgins just based off the offense. Now, Lutima Habitacia says 10-team double flex with Puka and Kyron. Starts at the rest. Baker, Kyler, Etienne. We're going to go Kyler over Baker. Etienne, HN, Chuba. We're going to go with Etienne as our other running back. AJ as our other receiver. Hawkinson as our tight ends. And then for our 2 flex spots, we are going to be playing HN. And then Jack. I know we're going to go with the other tight end. We're going to go HN. And then this is where we can flex Trey McBride. I think McBride's good enough to play over Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now, next switch coming out from Lazo says, lost Chase, but Puka saved me. We have Hurts, Adams, Rice, Walker, Barkley with Hawkinson in the flex. Should we go Wicks, Roschon, Washington, or Chase Brown? Thanks, man. Get that $3 million. Let me put this out here real quick. If we win Best Ball Mania for $3 million, the Flock meetup will be canceled at Zilker Park because we're throwing it cool. I'm getting us a boat to party on. Okay. So I did not forget. We said that before the season. If we win, let's call it more than 500,000 on Underdog this year, which is highly unlikely. I think the only tournament we're live to win 500,000 in is Best Ball Mania. So we'd have to place like top 3 or 4 in Best Ball Mania for it to happen. So it's not happening. But if we were to scratch that lotto ticket, then we are going to be going through and throwing a boat party instead. So then we'd be changing the location of the Flock meetup from the park. But nonetheless, I would not start anybody right now out of this list over who we have in the starting lineup. And if we were looking at Wicks, Roschon, Washington, and Chase Brown, I would go Wicks if we have no Reed and we have no Watson. If Reed does play and Lawrence does as well, then we would pivot over to Parker Washington. Now, Wabbit says 2 quarterback at Stafford Poke. Oh, hell yeah. Start Russ or Baker. I'm going to go with Baker, but phenomenal start. Starting says Brown, McKinnon, Roschon, Sutton or Godwin. I'm going to go Sutton over Godwin, and then Brown, McKinnon, or Roschon. Probably going to go with Jerick McKinnon and hope that Pacheco's not 100%, but obviously all the running backs are a dart throw. Now, Troubleshoot says, Happy BR, need a running back. Hubbard, Connor, or Chandler. I will go with James Conner. Taj says, Bijan, Barkley, Adams, Amon-Ra, Wilson. 2, 2, and 1. It's listed out exactly how we would start them here, my man. I mean, if we had to go through and if we had to bench one of these players, if that's what you're intending to ask, I'd probably actually go ahead and I may bench Adams. I think I'm going to play Wilson over Adams this week based off the Wilson matchup. Iron says, Merry Christmas. First in 2 leagues. Thanks to you. Merry Christmas, my friend. I hope everybody has great holidays. Peyton says, PBR got to finish. Keenan out. Hurts, Bijan, Pollard, Evans, DJ Moore, David, and Njoku. For the flex, we're going to go Hubbard, Javonte, Palmer, Brandon Cooks, likely. I'm going to go Javonte. If you wanted to go someone else, it would be Hubbard. And then the Chiefs or Dolphins, DST. I know the Dolphins have been great, but it's because their matchups. It's going to be a much tougher spot going up against Dallas now. We are going to go with the Chiefs, DST. But I think that should be it. We have one more. Dario says, 2 running backs with the flex. Who to start / flex? Singletary, Swift, HN, Walker, and then Kelsey and McBride. You go Kelsey over McBride. And then running backs are going to be starting Swift, HN. And yes, I think we go ahead and we play McBride in that flex spot. I'm going to be playing HN over Singletary, however, with Singletary having a tough matchup, plus the fact that you have no CJ Stroud. And yeah, I know this background isn't as good as what we had previously, blah, blah, blah. I'm visiting the fam. Okay, we are on the go here. I'm just impressed that we were able to get it looking this good, to be completely honest. So yeah, temporary setup here, but come on. We're visiting the fam for the holidays. You got to cut me some slack. But I think that's all I have for y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I really do appreciate you. Really hope that you are able to crush it this weekend. I'm rooting for your teams right after mine, of course. I am selfish like that. But I will keep y'all posted, see if we actually are able to take down another underdog tournament or two this year. Last year, we were the only person to take down multiple tournaments the same season. I think we're the only person to ever do that. Flex on them. This year, let's see if we can run it back. But thank you again. Really do appreciate y'all. Really hope we get to see out with the live stream tomorrow or the next day. And if not, I hope you're able to crush your matchups this week.